Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Felicia Nash and Troy Nash. The two of you, I don't know what's going on. I spent a good 15 minutes back there trying to figure out the trajectory of your relationship. Still don't have a clue what happened. So, Ms. Nash, why don't you tell me, start at the beginning and bring me up to today. Just like who got married and divorced and lived. Walk me through that.
Well, Troy and I met probably like 10 years ago. We married a year and a half later. We stayed married for 8 years. Our marriage was, the sex life was wonderful. The marriage was off, we had our problems, but not so severe to me. He understood me, I thought he did, and I understand him up until last year when I got to serve divorce papers.
You didn't think anything was wrong at all?
No, ma'am, no. At that time, I had a relative who was sick, and I was spending time with her. I had to go to the pharmacy to pick up some medicine, so I called a friend up to come and give me a ride because I didn't want to leave her for too long. So he come to get me, and my husband at the time was like, I'm coming to visit. I'm like, no, wait a few minutes. Let me get to the pharmacy and then come back. Well, he came up to the hospital anyway. When he got there, my impatient friend was honking the horn like, come on, because I got him in the middle of, he was doing a project at home.
So he said, come on, I'm doing you a favor. You
right,
better
get
down here.
And so, so I'm like, I got to go. So I give him a kiss real quick and I leave.
That's not true.
Okay.
Well, I'll get your version in a minute.
I leave and I come back to the house. I went and picked up my meds and came right back to the hospital. Well, he leaves, and I know he was upset because he's like, oh, you putting him first. I'm like, no, you got to understand. I needed a ride. It's 100 degrees outside. I need to get to this pharmacy and get right back. Well, I get back to the hospital, he calls me. He's upset. But that evening on the phone, I called him, and he has never done this. I don't care if he's talking to the Pope on the phone. He's going to continue to talk to me. Well, I call. He goes, I'm going to call you back. This is that same evening. I'm like, you're going to call me back? Okay, so I called him back late on that night. He don't answer the phone. I'm like, okay, so I'm still not thinking anything of it.
So conflicts are a big part of our couple lives, but the thing is, we must be mature enough to handle them gracefully, without hurting our partners or without ignoring their wishes, but also to understand that once we are together with someone, married and all that, we know their priorities, we get to know them already, we trust them, so we cannot blame them mindlessly for not fitting into our total of an ideal lifestyle. I mean, from what I see so far, it's just minor things that they have to work out about their lifestyle, about how they go on around doing things and so on. But the thing is, in life, you don't marry a copy of yourself. You marry a person that completes you, and sometimes that might translate to different opinions or different various differences regarding certain topics. So you have to be able to tolerate some things or tolerate different views or to understand different views. Why not? In order to avoid generating useless conflict. But as most people do, this man seems to have done a perfect job at being the perfect husband up until his midlife crisis occurred. So let's see. What did he do? Was he right? Was he wrong? Did he take the appropriate course of action? Was he mature about it? Or he was just a baby?
So, the next day we talked briefly, like I said, my family member gets a little better, so I go back to her house, and about a week and a half passed. And I had been calling him. We would talk here and there, but not like we normally would talk, still not thinking anything was wrong. Until that day, I'm sitting in the tub. I got my music going. I'm just relaxing. The family member's asleep, and I get a knock at the door. And I'm like, who in the world is this? My family member goes, you need to get up and get to the door. So I grab a towel, wrap it around me, dripping wet, and I get served divorce papers. The towel dropped, the man looked, and I'm like, seriously, I was so in shock because he knows I love him. If he don't know anything else about me, he know I love him. So for me to get divorce papers
without even knowing that something was wrong. Mr. Nash, why don't you, in an abbreviated fashion, tell me your side of that story?
Well, see, that part about the hospital, it was sort of true, but she called. I called her and told her I was coming. She knew I was coming, and I was on my way. And then she kept calling and tells me not to come. I'm like, I'm almost here. I'm downstairs. This is when this guy pulls up in the car that I know she was cheating with. And I just come to one. We were already having problems. We're already having problems, and I'm thinking that we're going to work them out, try to fix them, not knowing that she was seeing this guy. And this guy pulls up, and I recognize.
Did you have any other reason to believe that she was having an affair or dealing with another guy other than that day?
Yeah, the disappearing act she does, you know. She's gone, and I don't know where she's at. She don't answer her phone. You know, that, you know, tells me right there something's going on. You know, in this relationship that...
Did you two ever talk about it? Did you say, hey, baby, what's going on? Where are you going?
I tried to talk to her plenty of times about her, you know, disappearing. Tried to tell her, ask her many times, but she would not. She would just avoid the conversation.
Really, man? Divorce papers? Well, I didn't expect that one. He seems a little bit right to be suspicious of her as she didn't tell him with whom she was going to go to the pharmacy or go around town and help her and so on and so forth. But from that to assume cheating, that's a little bit taking it too far. What I want to say with this is that you don't have to fall into the trap of insecurity, because once you fall into the trap of insecurity and you start doubting the person that you chose to marry, you chose to have in your life, you clearly can stay away from, then it's done, it's over. I mean, you enter a vicious cycle of toxicity, and that's not good. You have to talk things through. You have to figure a way out of these insecurities, and maybe why not help each other go through all of these insecurities and go past them.
Change it to something else, you know. And this is why I divorced her. It was I couldn't take it. I go to see her, and another guy pulls up, and he honks the horn. She jumps to get to this guy. I'm like, wow.
Could it at all be what she said it was? Like somebody was doing her a favor and needed to go? You just
no,
don't believe
she could have
it.
went there. She could have did this stuff with me. We could have caught the bus or whatever and went to this pharmacy. But she wanted to do this with this guy. So,
Your Honor, may I say something, please?
What?
Please. This man has come and picked me up on numerous occasions to take me to the store, to take me places, and he'd be sitting up in the house, and he knew that this man would take me places. He knew that he was just a friend, and he knew that this man would help me out. He knew that because this was not the first time that this man has picked me up.
No.
What it was, Your Honor, when like I said, that particular night, I called Troy, and he told me, I'll call you back. Troy had already met another woman. Troy, no. I mean, he
Did
had
you
already
have another woman
he had
on
already
deck?
been seeing another woman.
I started this relationship after we divorced. Well, not after, but before we divorced. I started this relationship
That's
after I knew it was over.
And he didn't file
after
for
I knew it
divorce
was over
until
with me and
after
her.
he met this woman, Your Honor. He filed for divorce. From what I found out, he filed for divorce like a week after the incident happened at the hospital. And that's how it happened so fast.
But-
So so you were seeing somebody else.
Yes.
You had somebody
Yes.
on deck.
After me and her were done.
That's a lie.
when I met her.
He's lying.
So I'm guessing cheaters call cheaters, huh? Talk about projecting over here. Also, no, either it's just me, but I don't think you can get the confidence to cheat on your partner in a week's time. I mean, I don't buy it. I think he may have talked with that other person, and it's hilarious, really, because so many people, when they are getting caught cheating, they say, "Well, it was just a mistake. It was something. It was anything. It wasn't a mistake. I mean, you clearly had a choice there to do something or to not do something, and you chose to give in into temptation or into your pleasures instead of working through those tough times together with your partner." So I don't comment cheating of any kind. There might be certain situations where, I don't know, some cheating would be, let's say, forgivable, maybe, but in general cases it's not, because it comes out of a place of insecurity, or it comes out of cowardice, or it comes out of a place of narcissism, really.
After we were done.
His story's not even adding up, Your Honor. Listen to what he's saying.
I heard what he's saying. I got it.
Your Honor. He's never told me I'll call you back. I don't care. President of the United States, he's never going to tell me he'll call me back. And when he told me that,
So it was already in the works.
He was already in the works.
It was already in the works.
Because there was so much going on before. Before that incident, it was still some other stuff.
So what?
Going on that she done to hurt me so much.
What?
That, yeah.
Well, give me an example of one thing that she had done to hurt you before this incident. Just an example of something.
He can't think of nothing.
Oh, yeah, I can think of lots of examples.
Well, just give me one. Give me the
Like I
worst
said
one.
before, the disappearing act she does when me and her were living together. The leaving the house when me and her were living together. The secret phone call she would take in the bathroom or outside. those things I didn't like. I
Secret
didn't.
phone calls.
Yeah, you would go other places to take a phone call. When we're sitting here watching TV together, you know, she gets up and leaves.
Why would I get up and leave? Because he be watching a TV program that he loves, and he does not like to hear me talk on the phone. Speaking of all of that, when I'm talking to a family member on the phone, he does not like that. So I'll go in another room and talk to my family member. Your Honor, he's making excuses. I would go into the other room and I would talk to my family member, and he does not like it because he don't want nobody else to like me.
When she talking to her family member, she would tell me they say hi to me.
He doesn't want nobody else to like me. He just wants me in this little shell. So if I go somewhere, he knows I'm not going anywhere. He knows I'm either with my family member or I'm back at home or I'm going for a walk or something. He knows that.
Okay.
He knows.
No.
I got you.
Oh my god, really, this man reeks of insecurities. But the bigger problem is that both of them seem more concerned with the idea of being right rather than making things right for each other or doing right by each other. And it's sad to watch, really, because the thing is, this is a common problem with many couples out there, that they don't understand that it's not important who is right or who is wrong. It's important to reach a common ground where it can be it can lead to a right for both of you, a path that is right for the both of you. And if it cannot be, I mean, that path cannot exist, and you cannot coexist together, then you should stop that relationship and end it on amicable terms, instead of pushing and pushing and pushing and trying to make it work. And it certainly will not work that way, and you can remain friends with no problems. So I don't know, maybe it's just me. What do you think? Tell me in the comments.
Picture of what happened. I think I understand, and I think I know what I believe. But at this point, Ms. Nash, you got to tell me, at some juncture, you guys ended up moving back in together after the divorce?
Well,
Yes.
as you
Yes.
can tell, he's a very...
Yes.
I met Troy Nash, Your Honor, and the first time we met, it was like, I was in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's the first time, I don't know if I could say this or not, but he's the first man that ever made me have...
Okay, I get it. All right. I got it.
I mean, he was my best friend. I mean, he was there.
I get it.
You know, so
I get it. Mr. Nash, let me ask Mr. Nash this. How did you guys end up living together again after you divorced her because you believed she was seeing somebody else?
Well,
how did that happen?
Let me tell you, I do love her. I really do. She's fine. You know, she's smart. I love her. I mean, things she put me through, I still love her after all that. I can't understand.
But walk me through what happened. I mean, because she was shocked. You know, the process server got an eye full.
Yeah, but
then what happened?
That little 20-year-old girl came around with the big booty. That's all. That's what came along.
After all that, you know,
saying little things to him that filled his head up.
It was just before all that, you know, I couldn't trust her. She lied so much, you know, and I just didn't believe anything she said anymore. And she's calling me after all this, after we broke up and everything. I'm with somebody else. She's calling me, calling. She's in Arizona, calling. She's telling me she changed and crying, you know, and just wanted me back so bad. And I do love her. I do.
So they moved back after all? What the Vampire Diaries? I don't know what pet story is this. Like what? How do you go back to that, and why? Well, I do agree that most people nowadays see divorce as a way out of responsibility when times get tough. I'm a strong believer that once you get to a separation or to a divorce, why not? It has to be at a point where you don't see that any good can come out of your interactions as a couple. Maybe they're acting like fools and they are ignoring the bigger picture over here because they seem to have pretty unreasonable reasons to get divorced or get back together or go out, and I don't know, all these thing doesn't really make sense to me. And yeah, that's it. I think divorce should be a definitive choice. I mean, once you get a divorce, once you go your separate ways, you go your separate ways forever. You don't go back to what it used to be because it used to be like this. Because every issue that you'll have had up until that point will resurface. And I mean, if you can choose to deal with them, but it is going to take time that you may not have or you may not want to have with that person. You may want to for it to be like all over pink and flowers and rainbow sunshines everywhere, and it's not going to be like that. So just take into what do you think after a divorce? Do you think you could get back together with your ex?
So you believed her. You
I
believed
believed her.
things would be different.
Yeah.
And you moved back in with
I
her.
moved back in with her.
How long was it good?
About 2 months maybe. About
Okay, let's
3
change the
months,
story
maybe.
a little bit.
Well, what do you
called
say
him-
happened?
Okay, so before like I told you, Your Honor, before I even went to Arizona, I thought things were good between us. So that's when the calling actually was going on, because I'm like, I love you. I found out he had some little girl, and so we talking, and then we hooked up at my family member
this is
house.
post-divorce.
This is before I moved to Arizona. So before I moved to Arizona, I found out that he had some little girl. But I'm thinking, I know Troy. He going through a phase, you know what I'm saying? Because I know our relationship. Troy knows. I know he loved me, I love him. So we do our thing at my family member house and everything, and things, I'm like, what's going on? It'll bypass.
I don't know what you're talking about. All I know there were things happening.
Okay, so I'm getting to the point. So when like you said, I was calling him, calling. So anyway, after I get the divorce papers, I was shocked. So immediately that day, I moved to Arizona, okay? So I didn't call him maybe once or twice after I got here. So about a month passed, he called me out of nowhere. Matter of fact, the day that he called, I was about to go on a date with another man, because I'm like, it's time for me to move on with my life. I don't need to keep, thinking about him. So that day he called, and so I ended up not going on a date with this man, and him and I started talking, and we
ended up back together. How long were you together before it went south again?
Well, when he got to me, and that night, like I said, normally it's magical. And
Mrs. Nash,
you
are
I'm sorry.
killing me.
So that night when he came, I realized that I was too hurt. It just wasn't, I missed him, but it wasn't the same. That night, the day he got
the
there.
day he moved back in.
Right. And I'm like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I got to do some adjustment, because it's like he had been with another person, and I just couldn't get over that, because I would never be with another person. I can't stand for another man to touch me, And the thought that he let another woman touch him grossed me out. I mean, so.
Did you notice from her end that she was reticent, or that she wasn't really ready to have you back in the house?
I didn't notice that. I know she wanted me back there.
I did.
She wanted me back
I
there.
wanted
so
her
that's
back.
all.
But you didn't notice any hesitancy on her part?
No.
She was cool, there was no problems, no issues. Why do you say things went bad after 2 months? What did you start arguing about?
Little things like after I get off work, she wanted me to help do this or do that. I would be too tired. I'm tired. She would argue at me about that.
Well, I do get how things may be frustrating when looking out in the outside world and seeing couples that do things for each other, or at least in public, and you may want that treatment as well. But you also have to appreciate your partner. I think also that everyone should contribute in some way into a household. While one may come with the money, another one has to do the cleaning, or the wife takes care of the house and the husband takes care of the bills. I think that comparing your relationship to any other relationship, either a past ex lover, or maybe, I don't know, someone from your circle of friends or anything like that, is disrespectful, not only to your partner but to the ideal essence of your relationship with your partner. I think that the best way to approach this is to have both an agreed set of responsibilities in order to make everything turn out right. What do you think? Do you think like me, or do you have another opinion? Tell me in the comments.
I'm like, so she'd tell me things like another man would do so many hours at work and come home and help their wives. I'm not these other men. I'm tired. Let me get some rest. Let me rest for a few minutes.
Would you ask him to help around the house and then compare him to other men, saying other men would do it,
yes.
Why won't you?
It's not a comparison. I don't know. I guess I live in a fantasy world where a man can go to work and work 50 hours so we can still come home, mow the grass, and help out, because that woman can go to work and work 40 hours and still come home, wash the dishes, and cook and clean, and lay in the bed with her man and take care of him. So I figured, if I can sacrifice all this, then you can sacrifice it for me too. Because I'm working just as hard. Sometimes I'm working 10 hours, and I still come home, baby, here's your dinner, because I believe in a woman being a woman, and I believe in taking care of my man. I felt like a man needs to be a man. If I
Was she working as well?
At that time, she wasn't working.
Excuse me?
No. Nope.
Excuse me?
Nope.
When was I not working when I wanted you to come home and do something?
This is when you wasn't working. When I was
No,
working.
you said 2 months
and you
afterwards. 2 months afterwards, sir, I was working. I worked up until December.
She's kind of right here. I do believe that he should contribute more. I mean, if she's working and doing the cleaning and taking care of the house, he should at least try to take some part of those responsibilities with time. So she's right.
Ash, I understand that when you do argue, she tends to throw you out of the house. Is this
Yes.
true?
Yes.
Why don't you tell me about how your arguments go and how you end up getting thrown out of your house?
Oh, wow. Okay. She got family members that moved into the house. And they don't care too much about me, but
That is not
that's
true.
fine.
Okay.
But they moved their other half into the house too.
So a whole lot of people from
Yes.
her side of the family
Yes.
moved in the house.
In 1-bedroom apartment, yes. I said, I didn't want that to happen. Your family member's cool, but their friends, you know, is
Not cool.
I don't want, no, I'm not gonna have that.
Did
lamb
you
on
have
my
a
house.
whole lot of folks, relatives and friends of relatives in the house at some
Okay, Your
juncture?
Honor.
Yes.
My family member moved there, and it was not going to be like a move-in for months. She brought her other half with her. Now, it was comfortable in the house. It wasn't like a one-bedroom, and we all just uncomfortable. I had it fixed up where we were very comfortable in the house.
No, we were not.
We were very comfortable.
No,
he
we
had
were
to
not.
have it.
Yeah.
At that
You
time,
might
Your
have been
Honor-
no, Miss
Okay,
Nat,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no,
I'm sorry.
no.
I'm sorry.
You might have been comfortable, but he wasn't comfortable.
Okay, let me. I'm sorry. Can I please say something, please?
No.
You know why he was? Okay.
No.
I'm sorry.
A person has his home where he lives. And if he doesn't want other people in it, other than the two people that had joined together to be in it, you can't have those other people there. That's just what it is. You
Can I please
understand
say
what I'm
something?
saying?
Yes.
What have
Okay,
you
can I please
got to say?
Okay, before my family member came there, he was like, baby, you need to make sure you got a job, make sure things is right for him when they get here so they can be comfortable.
Yes.
Now, all of a sudden, they get here and he's uncomfortable. You don't want to know why, Your Honor? Because he had started seeing another girl. That's why he was uncomfortable. Because the night that he got put out of my
That's
house,
not
Your
true.
Honor,
That's not true.
I went outside. His friend had the phone.
That's
I looked
not
at
true.
this phone and it was saying, oh, baby, your lips are so soft. And that she just sent a text message, all these naked pictures of her on the phone.
That is
Getting thrown out of the house. Girl, that's just rude. Everyone out there, stop throwing your husbands out. Like, really. And boy, does she have a mouth, too. If only that were not the case, she'd be a pretty damn good woman. I'm not gonna lie. But Judge Toler just said it so beautifully. A person's notion of what a home is should be respected. And I believe that you should consider your house your relationship sanctuary. You should not let other people into your house. I mean, not even family. I'd argue that not even family should stay separate, because in your house you discuss your problems, you become the most vulnerable self, and you should do that only with your partner. That's just right to me.
That's when he got put out. That's when he got put out the house.
Okay, Ms. Nash,
That's not
Ms.
true.
Nash,
That's
did you
not true.
ever have any pictures of another naked woman, another woman who was naked on your phone?
No.
You're lying to the
No.
judge.
Ms. Nash,
I'm not gonna lie to her. No,
please.
this is after I got put out of the house. This is
So how
after
did
I
I
got
see
put out
the
of the
pictures
house.
that you
Ms.
got?
Nash,
It was after you got put out.
please.
This is after.
How soon after you got put out of the house did you have a woman sending you naked pictures?
No, she wasn't sending them to. We were just friends. They weren't naked. She just had on some skimpy outfits. She wasn't
How
naked.
did Ms. If you
She
were
got hold of my
already
phone.
out of the house,
She got
how
hold
did
of my
Ms.
phone
Nash
afterwards.
find out about it?
She got hold of my phone afterwards.
How did she get a hold of your phone if you were
We got back
gone?
together. I would come over.
So you guys were back and forth and back and forth,
yeah.
and you would have somebody in between.
No, she wasn't. She was just a friend. She wasn't nothing. She wasn't nothing.
There was no romance there.
No,
You're saying
no.
that was just a friend of yours.
Just-
Your Honor, ask him about the
just a
sex
friend.
toys then.
No.
That he said was mine. I found his bag.
Ms. Nash, I'm going to ask about the sex toys, and
Lord.
then what about the sex toys, Mr. Nash? Did you have any?
I work at a hotel, so I find lots of things. That's all it was.
But he claimed they was for me.
Ooh.
He claimed they was for me.
It was brand new.
They was brand new. They was
It
brand
wasn't
new, but he
used.
claimed they was for me at the
It wasn't
time.
used,
But
it was
I'm
brand new.
finding, Your Honor, okay, that one day, particular day, now this is before I put him out, so he keeps saying this after you got put him out.
I'm
He's
about
lying.
to put you out.
Okay,
I
I'm
cannot
sorry.
stand it anymore.
I'm
Come
sorry.
on.
But
Come
Your
on.
Honor,
Stop.
I'm sorry.
I need a mental health break.
Sex toys give My God, what if even what the hell of an excuse is that, boy? Damn it! I also need a mental health break. Lol. Let's finally hear the judge's ruling and learn a little bit from it, shall we? Because we need to untangle this mess, and I need a break too. Shortly after this.
Silence from this side of the room. Do you hear? Nothing. I don't want to hear a word. I'm going to ask him a couple questions. I'm going to say a couple of things, and then I'm heading out the door. Okay. Mr. Nash, are you two currently living together?
Yes, ma'am.
And how many times have you been put out and come back since you came back after the divorce?
3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
Aren't you tired of it
I'm
yet?
very tired, Your Honor. Very tired.
Listen, you two, I don't know what's going on with y'all, but I think what you need to do is work it out because you obviously can't stay away from one another. You need to keep her out of the general community. She's, buck up, suck it up a little bit, keep her contained and restrained and maintained in the household. And you guys are far, far, far too old to be running around with this little booty chick over here and this dude over there, whoever's giving you all these rides all over town. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know who's sending you naked pictures, but you're too old for it. And I can't take it no more. And this matter is adjourned.
Well, overall, as I agree with Judge Toler, she's right. They might work things out, especially that things, since they are a little bit older, they are grown people and they should grow up and face their reality, face the problems that they have, and work through them instead of doing this toxic cycle of back and forth, because they're not teenagers anymore. They know what they want from life, and I think that with time and a lot of patience, things will get resolved by listening to each other and taking in account each other's needs from a relationship. I hope that you learned from this with me a little bit about relationship dynamics and a little bit about conflicts and how you can achieve conflict resolution. And I hope to see you in my next videos that I'll be posting around here. And don't forget to check out my other videos on my channel. Thank you so much, and I hope that you will leave a comment and a like down below. Bye bye.